Yo, everybody, Kate Rundle here. Welcome to Wild Talk. This week, we're flipping the script. I will actually be interviewing our wonderful host, Steve Hamilton, alongside his daughter, Kaylee, all about their recent hunting adventures in Africa.
There's a lot of animals we saw that we kind of chased, and it didn't work out for one way or another just because they're animals and you can never quite predict them. But as for any dangerous stuff, I would say not really. Well, other than monkeys everywhere that you were warned about and going into lodges and stealing oranges. But yeah, nothing really dangerous. We felt safe 100% of the time and no close calls.
And then after that, we got Justin from Spypoint coming in for our Tools of the Trade segment.
If you've got your camera set to only transmitting, say, once or twice a day, you could have hundreds or thousands of photos depending on what type of area you're in. And to be able to filter that down or to filter by date historically really makes gathering the data that you need the most pretty simple.
So it's even cataloging it for you.
Absolutely is. Yeah.
Wow.
So I've got a pretty good feeling this episode's going to be one for the books. So stick around. Let's go.
I'm your host, Steve Hamilton, and you are watching Wild Talk. This episode of Wild Talk is brought to you by Hornady. Accurate, deadly, dependable. Bronc Beer. Great fucking beer. Umarex Air Guns. Hunt with air. Wild TV Plus, where the hunts never end.
Yo, everybody, Kate Rundle here, and welcome back to Wild Talk. We have a very, very special episode today. Usually you see Steve Hamilton right here asking all the questions, but it's my turn in the driver's seat. So we're very excited to talk to Steve and Kaylee Hamilton all about their hunting in Africa stories. So pitter patter, let's get at her. Hello, Hamiltons, and welcome to Wild Talk. How you guys doing?
Good.
Yeah,
pretty good.
It's different to be on this side of things, to be honest. Looking forward to it because normally I'm the one putting guests on the hot seat. Now good thing I got flip-flops on because I can feel the heat coming.
Absolutely, positively. So welcome back for your hunt in Africa. I'm sure it was an absolutely amazing experience. So let's talk about it. Steve, I know that you've hunted a lot in your time in a lot of different places. What put Africa on your hunting bucket list?
Oh, man. Goes back probably 25 years ago or so when I first got my hunting license. I just kind of thumbing through some magazines and saying, you know what? That gemsbuck looks kind of cool. I wonder where I can get one of those. And long story short, that ended up on a bucket list for me as one of the first couple animals I ever wanted. And here we are 20 some odd years later talking about it.
Super stoked that worked out for you, friend. Kaylee, your turn. I think this was your first international hunt?
Yes, it was.
First impressions when you got off the plane. What were you thinking when you were walking down that tarmac?
It was not what I expected at all. It was just magical. As soon as you got there, you could just feel it.
And that's just the airport. So I imagine once you start making your way in, it was probably a pretty mind-blowing moment, like, holy moly, I'm about to hunt in Africa. Okay?
Oh.
Yeah, it definitely was a slap of reality when we got there. She said you walked into the airport and went, oh, wow, we're really here. You see the signs that say OR Tambo, and you're talking with customs and they're asking you why you're there, telling you to have a good trip. You walk out, you meet your outfitter, and yeah, it's, as Kaylee said, it was absolutely magical. We're driving through Joburg towards the concession we went to, and literally we're looking at zebras and ostriches right on the side of the road type deal. It was just unreal, absolutely unreal.
Crazy.
That's awesome. Well, let's give a little special shout out to your outfitter. Who are you hunting with and what were they like?
We were with Jacques Kellerman's Safaris, and absolutely incredibly cool experience. Made the whole process as painless as 31 hours of traveling can be each direction. We just had a blast.
What species, like any certain species in mind that you guys were both going after on this trip? Did you have a specific, bucket list of animals you wanted to see?
Oh, they always warned me that if you ever go to Africa, have your species list ready, and they get ready to throw it out the window. So we went there with a few animals in mind, and once we got there, things kind of got turned on their head, as they do in Africa, and we ended up chasing Impala and Blesbuck and my Gemsbuck, Nyala, zebra, just a bunch of cool things. And yeah, just be ready if you ever take that trip over to kind of toss your species want list out the window.
Duly noted. Thank you. All right, good chat. Stay tuned, where there's going to be more after the break.
Can you see? Ziet hem onder zo'n ding, zo'n stripe is just about.
Welcome back. Kate Rundle here on Wild Talk. We've got the Hamiltons with us talking about their adventures on their African hunt. Kaylee, what was the first trophy for you? Your first big game down? What'd you get?
In Africa, it was a Impala. So we were just walking through the bush. We had seen few Impalas running along the tree lines. So we got out and stalked them and waited for them to stop, kind of, because they're always just moving. So got out, stalked up, waited a couple minutes, found them, waited some more, and then I got positioned on the sticks, looked through the scope, and pulled the trigger, and I couldn't believe that I had gotten an Impala in Africa. Just insane.
No, the best part was I was just sitting back at the truck, and the outfitter and the tracker, Kaylee and my wife, went for the walk, and 10, 15, 20 minutes later, whatever it was, I'm just kind of enjoying the scenery. I hear bang, and I'm like, oh, something's down. 10 minutes later, the tracker comes back walking towards us, and he's kind of laughing, and he goes, your daughter just shot a bigger Impala than you did. Gave me the high five, and I'm like, awesome. So,
Love to hear it.
She got
Good
the big
job.
Impala of the trip.
Did you have any, how about any close calls or any just absolutely unforgettable moments on this trip outside of the big game that you got?
Close calls. There's a lot of animals we saw that we kind of chased, and it didn't work out for one way or another, just because they're animals and you can never quite predict them. But as for any dangerous stuff, I would say not really. Well, other than monkeys everywhere that you were warned about and going into lodges and stealing oranges. But yeah, nothing really dangerous. We felt safe 100% of the time, and no close calls.
Awesome. Good. Glad to hear it. Well, I imagine that hunting in Africa can be pretty different than hunting at home. So what about any unique challenges you faced, whether it was the heat, the terrain, the tracking, anything that stood out to you as, not as comparable to what you do back home?
Absolutely different.
Yeah, that's the best way to put it. We left Switzerland in summer and flew 12, 13 hours to Joburg into their winter. And it was essentially our summer. It was 25, 26 degrees Celsius. The weather was amazing. But as for being different, other than the weather, the complete equator shift, I would say that essentially everything there wants to hurt you. From learning really quickly that when an outfitter ducks as you're walking through the bush, you duck. If an outfitter's not touching something, you don't touch something. the spikes and the thorns on some of these trees were like this. Other spikes and thorns on trees you couldn't even see until it had grabbed your hat and yanked it off your head, or in Kaylee's case, gotten caught in her hair. The heat, they warned us. They said, if you ever come back in March or April, that's their summer, and it could be 39, 40 degrees Celsius.
Yeah.
But yeah, the terrain was quite different from what we're used to.
But in a
good way. In a good way.
Oh, yeah?
Other than everything trying to hurt you when it came to their shrubbery, if you're into Monty Python.
How long were you guys there again?
How long were we there?
I'd say about a week,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. I
So
think we
a
were
week-
on the ground. Yeah. Monday to Monday.
Mhm.
Yeah. We flew in the Monday. We flew out the Monday. But yeah, 6 solid days of hunting, and every day was action packed.
One of the best weeks ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
One of the best weeks ever. I know you guys are roommates, but that's one full week of Steve Hamilton's dad jokes. Good on you, Kaylee, for surviving. Good job. All right, good chat. Stay tuned. Where there's going to be more after the break.
Stream past episodes of Wild Talk at wildtvplus.ca.
Yo, everybody, Kate Rundle here, and welcome back to Wild Talk as we interview the Hamiltons about their South Africa hunting trip. Hello, Hamiltons.
So weird to be on this side of things.
Get used to it, brother. All right, Steve, you've hunted for decades. What was it like watching Kaylee step into this hunting adventure with you?
Oh, she's hunted with me ever since.
I could walk pretty much.
You weren't even walking the first couple times you came out with me. She's been alongside me in the back of the truck in some way, shape, or form ever since she was in diapers. So she got her hunting license at what, 10 and a half?
About, yes.
10 and a half years old, and sniped a couple of grouse that year. And last year she got a great big black bear here in Prince George for her first big game. But this one started kind of funny. We were at a wild game banquet about a year and a half ago. She came with me to do the kids' youth program, and she's looking at the auction items, and she's like, "Oh, there's a South Africa trip, Dad. Do you mind if we bid on that?" And I went, "Sure, okay. If the price is right, and sure, why not?" So live auction comes around, and she's sitting at the table. She's kind of sitting behind me. And we'd made a game plan just before that, and I said, if the price is what I want, I'll kind of tap you on the leg, and you put your hand up. And she's like, "Oh, okay." So we got a room full of 200, 300 people, and the live auction guy is doing his thing. And
with the online
there's an online contingent. So hear a number, and I tap her leg, and the hand goes up, and hands shoot round as the auctioneer points, and you hear this, "Aw." They see a 10, 11-year-old bidding. And my thought process was, no one's going to bid against a kid. So then you hear, "Online bid at this amount." I'm like, oh. So number comes up, and I tap her, and online bid. I'm like, oh, man. And I tap her once more, and I'm like, okay, I'm pretty much out here. And online bid, and I'm like, oh, man. I'm looking around, and at this point, I don't tap her. And I see everybody kind of looking around, and they're waiting to see if there's going to be a counter bid, and I hear, "Sold!" And the room starts clapping, and bidder over there. Da, 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 da. I'm like, oh, cool. I wonder who got it. And the lady with the credit card machine comes up and goes, "Congratulations," and hands it to me. And I look at her, and she's going, so I'm like, oh, I kind of guess we're going to South Africa now.
Worth it.
It was worth it. The price was right about where I was out at. And yeah, here we are talking about it a year and a bit later, but I couldn't have been more proud. We got there that night. The outfitter takes us out to the little makeshift gun range on the concession there, and he's doing his due diligence because he doesn't know if me, Kaylee, or wife can shoot. So he wants to kind of gauge the lay of the land with us, and he puts the target up about 120-ish yards, and there you can use silencers. Like, So we got a big silencer on this 308, and he sends a round down range and double checks that the gun is hitting where it should, and he goes, "Okay, were you up first, or was Mom?"
I think it was you first, or it was Mom.
Yeah, I think it was Mom. So Mom does her thing and puts 2 shots touching on the target, and he goes, "Oh, okay, these people are serious." I get up there, I put 2 shots touching, but you got your target here and they're down here, and I'm like, they're touching, so that's not me. And he realized he gave me a 10 grain different bullet, so he puts in the bullets that we're supposed to be hunting with, and I do my part on the target. Then she gets up and he says, "Oh, I want to do something different with you," and he puts 1.5 inch solid reactive steel target up, one of those ones that you go ping and you can hear it kind of rotate around, and she takes her shot and sends that thing for a loop, and he's like, "Okay, you guys are ready." So we started the day off great, started the trip off great, and yeah.
All right, so lesson learned when going to an auction, bring Kaylee with caution. Kaylee, good on you for going after exactly what you want, even if it comes at your father's expense. Well done, little man.
Pretty much.
All right, so that's some pretty funny stories. Let's segue that to another funny story if you got them. Any hilarious moments that happened at camp? Stories to be told for years to come, perhaps?
There's a couple. Couple for sure.
What did they tell us the minute we got there? We were packing our stuff out of the truck. We got our own lodge, Mom and I, and then Kaylee got her own lodge. So she was quite spoiled there. So we're packing the stuff out of the truck. And what was the first thing they said to us?
Keep your doors closed. There's monkeys.
So we found out a couple days into it that
they weren't joking.
They weren't kidding. We walked into we're kind of outside the cook shack. I don't know, shack, because it was a full lodge, but we had breakfast and lunch and dinner, and you can hear the ladies screaming. So we go in there and they're pointing, and there's a little vervet monkey that had got in through their open door, and he was stealing oranges, and he got cornered, and so we had to help chase him out. And what was the one you had with the Nyalas?
So I was just coming outside of my lodge one evening to go to the campfire that we had. And I hear these little footsteps to my right, and I'm like, "What's that over there?" So I look, because it's kind of dark out. I can't see that well. But in the little light, there is a little female Nyala just coming up to me. No fear.
Yeah. Up close and personal with a Nyala. Not something I would have expected there. So
that was on like the second day.
Yeah.
It was like your African Snow White moment. Love that for you.
Yeah, it really was.
All right, well, I'm having a great time, not keeping track of time. It's probably time for a commercial break, so stay tuned. We'll be right back with more Wild Talk.
All right, everybody, we're back with more Wild Talk. We've got friend of the show, Justin from Spypoint, joining me. Justin, it's been a little while since we've had a chat. What's new in your world?
Hey, man, I'm trying to survive the heat, not sweat to death here in South Louisiana.
I feel your pain. It's warm here, but nowhere near what you're suffering. So let's talk trail cameras again. Last time you were on, we talked about Spypoint and some of the cool features that you've got, but I want to dig into it a little bit more. Let's talk advanced users. I know there's a scheduling feature and things like that. So when somebody wants to get serious with their trail cameras, what are the features that they can rely on with Spypoint?
Hey, man, we've got a lot of options in the app. You know, we've got things like weather forecasting. We've got mapping in there, so you can plot where all of your cameras are, see the satellite view of where they're at. We've also got advanced AI features. You know, we were the first ones back in 2018 to launch what we call Buck Tracker, which is species recognition. So now we've advanced that. You've got all of these different species and sexes that you can filter by, but also times of day. So for instance, if I only want to see bucks or bulls that I've captured during daylight, I can now do that because nighttime bulls or nighttime bucks don't help me. We've also got things you mentioned like the scheduling feature. There are different laws in every state and every province where you can have your camera turned off during certain hours or times of day. You can also delay the transmissions to a certain point to abide by local laws. So we keep a thumb on that, and we keep an eye on that and make sure that our cameras have the option to work within the limits of the law in your area.
That's unreal. I had no idea that there was like you could dial down the features like that. Is that for all cameras or just certain models?
That'll work on all of our cellular models.
Oh, well then, I got to play with that app a little bit more. And once I get my cameras out, that's unreal. So it can broadcast dates and times that you pick, hours that you pick, and even dial down the species and sex.
Correct. Yeah. So if I only want to see, cows or does, I can select that and go through there if that's the only tag I've got.
That is unreal. That's going to be so handy for a lot of our hunters that are watching this. I had no idea that was a capability.
It really speeds the scouting up, man. You can wake up, if you've got your camera set to only transmitting, say, once or twice a day, you could have hundreds or thousands of photos depending on, what type of area you're in. And to be able to filter that down or to filter by date historically really makes gathering the data that you need the most pretty simple.
So it's even cataloging it for you.
Absolutely is. Yeah.
Wow. The features that they're available at essentially at your fingertips on your phone are wow. I had no idea. So I know one of the features that first drew me to Spypoint a bunch of years ago was the solar power thing. It saves you chasing batteries down and worried about in the middle of winter, middle of spring, wherever it is, getting out to your camera and going, oh man, the last picture I took was February 2nd and it's now April 30th. So you've missed months and months. So talk a little bit about the solar power integration and how does that help?
Yeah, man, that's another thing that we're really proud to be the first at. We brought that to market some years back, and that's something that we've been able to improve upon, both in the efficiency of the solar panel and the size of the internal lithium batteries that are included. We've got multiple camera models, especially our non-cellular models, the Force Pro S 2.0. I'll tell any and everybody, you don't ever have to put batteries in that camera, and you will never have to replace the batteries in that camera under certain circumstances.
Right.
If you're getting, tons and tons of videos all day and hardly any sunlight, yeah, you may kill the battery eventually. But with 4 to 6 hours of sunlight a day and a moderate, to major amount of content gathered, that the batteries in that thing are going to last forever. And they're really great on the cellular side as well. Our Flex S and Flex S Dark, we advertise season-long battery life. And that's really the goal of cellular cameras, is to be able to put them in there and stay out and not disturb that area. Mm-hmm. And a solar panel on top of the cellular technology really makes that possible.
It's essentially a set it and forget it type deal, right? You can monitor it from your phone and look at the camera in real time type deal. And you're like, all right, it's still transmitting. But one thing I want to talk a little bit about with the solar power is, do you need a clear line of sight for it? Is filtered sun going to work well, or how's that work?
Filtered sun still works. You don't have to have direct sunlight. Direct sunlight is going to provide the best charge, but ambient light will still do the trick as long as you've got it, for, I said, 4 to 6 hours a day. And it really depends on the situation. Battery life is one of the things that folks ask us the most. It depends on what type of sunlight you're getting, how much sunlight you're getting, and how many photos or videos you're taking a day.
Love it. So as we wrap this up, where can somebody find your trail cameras?
Yeah, the easiest place is spypoint.com, but I guarantee you there is a retailer near every one of your viewers that will be proud to help them out as well.
Yeah, over 100 countries, you said. That's an unreal reach around the world. Justin, a huge thanks for all that you're doing, and I cannot wait to get my cameras out and play with that app a little more.
Yeah, thanks a lot, man. Good luck this season.
Stream past episodes of Wild Talk at wildtvplus.ca.
Hello, everyone. Kate here with Steve and Kaylee Hamilton. Talk about their South African adventure. Let's get right back into it, shall we? Steve, Kaylee, what would you say was one of your most breathtaking wildlife encounters, either when you were hunting or just observing?
What about you? What's your thoughts?
Oh, there's a few. I really don't know.
Giraffes.
But those were cool. Seeing giraffes, like, not even, like, just on the other side of the road. Up close, and all the little animals that just were hopping alongside the road, crossing the road.
It's literally right out of a movie. We were driving just in the back of the outfitter's vehicle, and we're seeing a herd of zebras. And it's 200 meters up, and we're videoing this. This is awesome. And all of a sudden, you'd see a leopard run right across, and he's chasing an Impala. And the outfitter says, "That's a leopard! That's a leopard!" I'm like, "We got it on video." And he says, "No, in way." I'm like, "Yeah." And I show him the video, and he's like, "I've seen 9 of these in my 50 some odd years of being in South Africa, and 1 in the daylight. And that was the only one we ever seen in the daylight." So that was amazing. So we're following the zebras. We follow the road around, and we're kind of exploring a little bit. And we're an hour later, and he says, "Oh my God, there's an aardvark right there in the middle of the day. They're nocturnal." So we had 2 unheard of experiences there in daylight that just didn't happen. So that's wildlife encounters. Oh, Kaylee mentioned the giraffe. That's my wife, her mom's favorite animal in the world, and getting to be there with her to encounter and see a giraffe up close. And when I say up close, I mean 30, 40 meters away. For the first time in the wild, the tears, the tears on her poured. She was just so moved by it. And she said, "This makes the whole trip." And that was day 2 into the trip. And we
Day
had
2 or 3, yeah.
multiple experiences later in the trip of seeing a great big old bull giraffe in the family unit. We had babies and the females, and just beautiful creatures. But if we're going to talk hunting moments here, the minute...
Oh, let's just pause for a brief second. I call BS. I'm going to say Steve Hamilton was the one not crying, not Dale, but you go ahead.
Busted. So we're going to talk hunting moments. Watching Kaylee kind of pivot from a one target animal of a warthog to, "That's what I want to shoot next, Dad." And I went, "What?"
Ooh,
And
ambitious.
It was a zebra. So I'm talking with the outfitter. He says, "We got lots of zebras here, so the opportunity is there, but they are tough to hunt. They're very, very spooky." And literally anytime we would come around the corner, they were gone. Absolutely gone. So we're chasing a gemsbuck, my target animal, and we're like, "Oh, it's a little smaller one." So we're walking up the road, and then there's a herd of zebras up there that probably 300, 400 meters up. And we're playing the wind, and they cross into this little thicket. We cut them over. I'm right behind the outfitter and Kaylee. She's on the sticks, and she'd been told to shoot him in what they call the sergeant stripes. Right, right above the shoulder, they have like little triangles. Shoot right at the sergeant stripes. And I got the video up, and I could see him. And you hear the outfitter giving the instructions, and she's on the gun, and you hear bang, and you hear that. I'm like, "Oh, got him." So we got up, and 10 minutes later, she was taking pictures with the herd stallion. Beautiful old animal to take, and
Beautiful face.
oh, now I've got some expensive taxidermy that I'm going to have to cover in a couple of years, because she didn't just want the flat rug that everybody wants. She wants the full on chest pedestal up with some pillows for the back skin. So
Yeah, she's a woman who knows what she wants. Love it. Absolutely,
does.
positively. It's probably time for a commercial break, so stay tuned. We'll be right back with more Wild Talk.
Well, one more day, and we make the long trek back to Canada tomorrow. It's been one hell of a week. It's gone way too fast. And as they say, I was warned. They say that when you come here, you can't just be here once. So we're already talking about coming back in 2 years. What was your favorite part?
I can't pick a favorite.
What was your favorite animal you saw?
Giraffe.
Giraffe. What was your favorite animal you shot?
The zebra.
Zebra. Heck of a shot. Well, it's been one hell of a trip. I'm so thankful we could do it as a family.
Welcome back to Wild Talk as we interview the Hamiltons about their South Africa hunting trip. It's a really good segue for me. Let's talk about, did you bring home any trophies, or was it just memories that you're especially proud of?
What'd you bring home?
So much. Like
Memories?
memories, the experience. Just, I still couldn't get over it when we were there, that we were in Africa. Just seemed so crazy, but.
And well, the one thing you've brought back is something my good friend TJ Schwanke, Outdoor Quest shout out on Wild TV, he warned me. I've been talking with him for years. We've been friends for over a decade now. And I've kind of thrown this stuff at him over the 10 years, whatever I've known him. South Africa this, South Africa that. And the one warning he has given me is, the second you go to Africa, you're planning your next trip back. And he's not wrong, because we're sitting in the we're sitting in the lodge a couple days beforehand before leaving, and I'm going, okay, 2027, that could be workable. And yeah, I've heard it said many, many times that when you go to Africa, you leave a piece of yourself there and you keep returning to try and find it. And I can, and Kaylee and Dale can say firsthand that it's
Very true.
Very, very true. But as for bringing trophies back, there's a minimum 90-day waiting period on anything that you're bringing back. So we've got our skins, skulls and horns at a dipping packing place. They're taking care of that. Then it'll be shipped over here in a few months. So those are the trophies that are coming back there. But a really cool experience we had is we went to a little local shop in the little village we were at and just get some touristy stuff. And the minute they found we were from Canada, they went into the back and grabbed the owner of the shop, who moved from Alberta, I believe it was 30 years ago. Met a fellow.
Small world.
Yeah, met a fellow over there, moved over there and opened up a shop, and was talking with us about our magical experiences. And we're talking about how we love the food, and she was talking about how she misses maple syrup and ketchup chips and all that. And she asked Dale what her favorite animal was. And like I said, Dale's favorite animal was a giraffe. And a couple of minutes later, she comes out of the back with a hand-carved, beautiful little wooden giraffe and said, "This is from one Canadian to another." Wrapped it and gave it to her for free. So it was just that the people were fantastic. The food was amazing. Just an all-around incredible, incredible, magical place.
That sounds absolutely wonderful. Can I come next time?
Well, we usually just do carry-on. So you're going to have to scrunch up real small.
Yeah, okay, I get it. All right, this was super cute. Thanks for the chat. I reckon it's time for another commercial break, so stay tuned. We'll be right back here on Wild Talk.
Stream past episodes of Wild Talk at wildtvplus.ca.
Alrighty, buddy. This has been a great interview so far. Thanks to the Hamiltons for joining us and talking all about their trip in Africa. Kaylee, Steve, riddle me this. Aside from the hunting aspect of Africa, what cultural or local experiences stood out to you most?
Oh, the food.
Yeah.
What was your favorite food that we had there?
Oh, why did you ask me that?
Because I know I put you on the spot.
There's so many. It was all so good. I don't think I had one thing that I didn't like. It was just
Game meat. What was your favorite game meat we had?
zebra. It was just not what you expect, but in the best way.
Yeah, it was. I got to say the same. The food was just spectacular. We had everything from oxtail to this sticky toffees pudding sort of dessert. I think they called it malta. And
Oxtail.
That salsa sort of thing, the cabbage one, like coleslaw, like shakalaka or something.
Mm-hmm.
Just the food was incredible. But I almost think it was a culture shock in some way, shape, or form, because everywhere we went, like I said, we felt safe everywhere, but everywhere we went had tall fences with electric fence and razor wire, barbed wire on it. And that was just the way things are done there. There's gated communities. But yeah, it was a bit of a culture shock, but again, we didn't feel unsafe. But if I had to pick the one thing that was the highlight for the culture, because we were there to see animals, was the food. Food was just top notch. They had this chocolate bar that I've been trying to source everywhere. It's a peppermint crisp.
Yeah.
It's like chocolate with like peppermint in the middle, and it's crunchy. It's like they call it a cracknel.
But it's not like the overpowering peppermint.
It's just so good. We could talk about food for hours.
Yeah, me too. Hungry just thinking about it. Let's move on with a couple other questions, shall we? So would you say, did this trip change the way you see hunting at all, either personally or as a family tradition?
I think it gives us a new respect for the African wildlife model.
Yeah.
You hear about it all the time until you see it firsthand. They've got a saying over there: if it pays, it stays. Basically, you can see it firsthand. If you go explore around Google Earth, you can see where these wildlife concession areas, these preserves are. It's green, 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 and then bang, all of a sudden it's flat dirt. So once there's a value on wildlife, it's abundant, absolutely abundant there. And they've got it dialed very, very well. Not a scrap of meat went to waste.
Nope.
We were fortunate enough to try my Nyala and some of Kaylee's zebra, but every scrap went to the locals because protein is a precious commodity there. And we go there and we dump, I don't want to say how much money, but enough money into a local economy, help bolster that, being able to bring them protein. It was just a cool all-around experience.
Awesome. Love to hear it. Time for a commercial break, so stay tuned. We'll be right back with more Wild Talk. Welcome back. Kate Rundle here on Wild Talk. We've got the Hamiltons with us talking about their adventures on their African hunt. I feel like I might know the answer to this question, but would you recommend another father-daughter hunt to others, our viewers, perhaps?
Absolutely.
Why?
It's just, I don't even have the words to describe it.
Was it the dad jokes? it's
Definitely dad jokes.
There's an audible sigh there. Yeah, it was just from even getting through customs in Vancouver Airport. That's where you and I have always had a strong bond. We've always had a close friendship. Just watching the spark in her eyes come alive when she realizes, okay, this is really happening. We're at the airport. There's our plane. And it was just, I don't think the smile left either of our faces until we jumped on the plane to come back. And then it was more of a excited to be coming home, but
Also excited to be going back one day.
see, excited to be going back one day because she knows we're going to do it again. It's one heck of a bonding experience for an entire family. It was just, said it a few times. What's the word? Magical. Really, truly is magical.
You can't not go back.
Yeah. See, she's already chasing that piece. The outfitter we were talking with said about her that he hasn't seen somebody that is that invested and cares that much about wildlife and is that good of a shot in his years of doing it. And he worked out that the average person, if they started hunting in Africa at 18, would have to be into their early 70s before they harvested every trophy in Africa, every animal in Africa. And he said the way she does it, with her shots, starting now, she could be done by she's in her 40s. I'm not paying for that long. But yeah, there's just so much diversity there to see in everything, from the people to the wildlife to the habitat. Circle back to that food. Just there's so much to see there.
Awesome. I'm packing my bags. Can't wait to go too now. Thank you for the inspo. One more question for the Hamiltons. Aside from Africa, what's next on your hunting bucket list, whether it be location or species? Go.
What do you want to get next?
In Africa or here?
Here.
I would say probably a deer of some sort, like a whitetail or a mule deer. I'm hoping for at least.
Yeah, because you got a great big black baby.
Fingers will remain crossed for you.
Yeah, last year she had multiple shots on deer, but she wasn't comfortable with the shot. They were either hidden or they weren't quite facing the right direction, and she didn't pull the trigger. So she's got quite the restraint there, but it'll happen one day. And what do you want in Africa next?
Probably a jackal and a black Impala, because we were driving down one of the paths on one of our last days. I think it was the last day, and we're like just looking. We see a herd of Impalas, but we see a black one in there, and those are apparently rare. So
and expensive. So of course she wants one.
Of course.
When we go back, Dale wants a sable because she got to see a couple of them there, and of course they're expensive. And now my next is going to be a kudu because they're expensive. And
you want to get the spiral slam.
And I want to get the spiral slam. There's 4 in that. So I've got my Nyala. I need to get a kudu, a bushbuck, and what's the other one?
What's the name of it?
Kudu, bushbuck, Nyala.
I'm trying to think.
Eland.
Right.
The big eland. So we saw all of those there, but the way I look at it is if I go back and I get the kudu and the bushbuck next time, I still got to go back again and chase that eland. Right. So play it
naturally. Gotcha. All right, sweet. Well, this has been an absolute treat. Steve, thanks for letting me sit in the driver's seat. Much appreciated. Kaylee, thanks for tolerating all of these questions. It's been super duper inspiring to me, not only to want to be able to go to Africa myself one day, but it was just awesome being able to hear about your adventures as this father-daughter duo. Just loved everything about this episode. Thanks so much for joining us. And for everybody watching, Kate Rundle here signing off for this week's episode. Hope you really enjoyed it. I know I did. We'll catch you next time right here on Wild Talk.
This episode of Wild Talk is brought to you by Hornady. Accurate, deadly, dependable. Bronc Beer. Great fucking beer. Umarex Air Guns. Hunt with air.
Wild TV Plus, where the hunts never end.